Another developing story as Sean P. Diddy Combs, another lawsuit being filed against him, this coming after the federal indictment in the recent weeks as he faces a lawsuit of more than 100 people and allegations of sexual abuse and sexual assault.
You gotta think, man, this Diddy, he's bringing 100 mil. He's bringing 100 mil of lawyers to the table, man. He's not gonna play with his freedom.
One witness to prove sex trafficking.
Y'all, the streets are talking, and they're saying Diddy just got caught slipping, When cameras catch you off guard, it ain't never good news, but let me tell you this time, it's juicier than ever. The bad boy himself didn't even know he was being recorded, and what went down, it's got everyone's jaws on the floor. Now, I know y'all are dying to know what exactly happened, but trust me, it's wilder than you can imagine. This ain't just some regular celebrity mishap. We're talking about Diddy here, the man who's always been 10 steps ahead of everyone else. But this time looks like he might have tried and big time. The tea is hot, and it's about to get spilled all over Diddy's pristine image. You know how quick things can change in this game. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're trending for all the wrong reasons. And girl, the consequences, they could be major. We're talking potential damage to his empire, his relationships, maybe even his legacy. The streets are watching, and they ain't going to let this one slide easy.
Is involved in these allegations, and what details can you share?
Hey there, Andy. Yeah, Houston attorney Tony Busby says 3,285 people have reached out to him claiming to be victims of Sean P. Diddy Combs. And he says after some vetting, he is now representing 120 of those people who will bring civil lawsuits against P. Diddy. That's 60 males and 60 females, including 25 children. And I will warn you, some of these accusations are pretty disturbing.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. You should know that more than 55% of the victims reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. Drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of, we're gonna make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. But this individual, who was 9 years old at the time, was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly, by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it. Allegedly, Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
It was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs.
All right, listen up, because this is where things get real messy. That camera, it didn't just catch Diddy off guard. It caught him red-handed in a situation that's got everyone talking, and trust me, it's wilder than any rumor you've ever heard about him before. So here's the tea. Diddy was at this fancy private party in La, the kind where celebs think they can let loose without worrying about paparazzi, but chill, they forgot about those sneaky security cams. The whole thing went down last Saturday night, and let me tell you, it was not what anyone expected from the bad boy himself. Picture this: Diddy's in the VIP section, thinking he's all safe and cozy, but little did he know that camera was recording every single move. And what was he doing, girl? You're not going to believe this. He wasn't popping bottles or making deals. Nah, he was knitting. Yes, you heard that right. Diddy Combs, the hip-hop mogul, was sitting there with knitting needles and yarn, looking all focused, like he was about to drop the hottest scarf of 2023. Now you might be thinking, hold up, did he knit? And that's exactly what everyone at the party was thinking too. The looks on their faces when they realized what was going down, priceless. Some people were trying to hold back their laughter, others were just straight up confused. I mean, can you blame them? This is Diddy. We're talking about not your grandma's knitting circle. But wait, it gets even better. When did he realize people were staring? He didn't try to hide it or play it off. No, he started giving a full-on knitting tutorial. He was showing off different stitches, talking about yarn quality, the whole 9 yards. It was like watching Martha Stewart take over a hip-hop party.
Now, according to Busby, several of the 120 people that he's representing have now spoken with the FBI. They are from 25 different states. Most are from California and New York, which is where Busby says these alleged attacks occurred. He also says that most of the victims tell him that they were given some sort of a drink, and it turns out that drink was drugged. They say they woke up with severe damage to certain private areas of their bodies, and they couldn't remember anything. But of course, Andy, Sean P. Diddy Combs is maintaining he did not sexually abuse anyone.
All right, some disturbing details, like you mentioned, a 9-year-old potentially involved in this dating back to 1991. Dominique, I do have to ask you, were there any victims there? Did they speak out at this press conference at all?
You know, actually, there were not any victims there, and I probably should have pointed that out. There were several people standing there with the attorney, Tony Busby, and they were victims advocates, and they were also, you know, some were attorneys, but there were not any victims there at the news conference.
All right, still very emotional, traumatic events, and these allegations very, very serious. Dominique, thank you so much for your time and your great reporting here on Live Now from Fox. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue on. Of course, we were listening into that press conference earlier on today as over 100 people coming forward with this lawsuit. The Texas-based attorney making this announcement earlier on today. Let's take you out to these remarks a little bit in full and listen into what transpired earlier today. And of course, we want to reiterate that viewer discretion is advised, as some of these details are very difficult to hear. Let's listen in.
My name is Tony Busby. I'm a lawyer here in Houston. I'm licensed in Texas and in New York, and I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against.
Now I know what you're thinking. Is this for real, girl? I couldn't make this up if I tried. The streets are buzzing with this tea, and it's hotter than a fresh cup of Earl Grey. People who were there swear it's true, and honestly, it's so wild that it's got to be real. I mean, who would even think to make up something like Diddy being a secret knitting enthusiast? But here's the kicker, and this is the part that's really going to blow your mind. Turns out Diddy wasn't just knitting for fun. Word on the street is that he's been working on a secret fashion line of high-end knitwear. Can you imagine Diddy designed sweaters and scarves hit King the Runway? It's like the fashion world and the hip-hop world had a baby, and that baby loves to knit. This whole incident is shaking up Diddy's image in ways nobody saw coming. 1 minute he's the tough music mogul, the next he's crafting like it's nobody's business. It's got people wondering what other hidden talents he might be hiding. Like, does he also do origami? Is he secretly amazing at watercolor painting? The possibilities are endless, and you know the internet is having a field day with this. But real talk, this could actually be a smart move for Diddy. I mean, think about it. In a world where every celebrity is trying to be edgy and cool, here's Diddy showing off a totally unexpected side. It's kind of refreshing. Like, who knew the bad boy had such a soft side?
One witness to prove sex trafficking. You have to have one witness. You already said yourself, Cam, that Cassie is the star witness. All you need is one witness to prove it. She got the time, the places, and one of the persons. He's in federal custody right now. Jonathan Odie. He's in custody right now.
Who's Jonathan Odie?
Jonathan Odie is one of the sex traffickers that brought the case to, I think, the Miami-Dade police when he went into one of Trump's office and shot it up.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. That guy came out years ago claiming that Diddy, Khaled, and Rick Ross were all gay.
He also came out and he had pictures and everything. He also said that Diddy and them was they was putting liquid cocaine in bottles and shipping it around the country. He also said that he was a sex slave for Diddy and them. He also had $36 in his bank account, and within 2 weeks, somebody had put like $4 million in there. He was buying property and everything.
Well, I seen that Diddy tried to silence you or tried to get you to stop talking about it.
This is relayed to me by Kirk Burrows. This guy is like this with Diddy. You seen him on Drink Champs with him. You see him walking the streets in Miami with him, the whole 9 yards. So I'm saying to him, what does he want to talk to me for? He ain't got nothing to say to me. He said, yo, Gene, he said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough to what? And I told Kirk Burrows, I said, yo, if he I said, he don't want to talk to me for himself. He wanted to talk to me for Diddy. And I ain't got nothing to say to him. He ain't said enough is enough to Wolf Mother when he cursed out and told her all kinds of shit. Did he say enough is enough to Big's mother? What do you mean enough is enough? And that's how that conversation went.
How did you feel about it after you were done?
I felt that, like, because they must have got at Kirk Burrows, because Kirk called me with the bullshit. Yo, you gotta fix that. You know this, man. God, excuse me. Listen here, bro. I don't care nothing about none of these industry cats and what they do and how they do it. That's their business. You understand? I don't tell a man how to screw his wife and how to spend his money. You don't tell me what I gotta do with my time. Point blank.
Do you feel like at some point Diddy could try to come after you or do something? You know, being that he's went after a lot of people. He's did a lot of stuff, as you know about.
Cam, let me tell you something, man. If I worried about what somebody would do for me, I wouldn't be the man that I am. I keep my head on the swivel. I do what I have to do to protect myself and my family. All I know is that I know one thing for certain, two things for sure. I got people out here that love me. You understand? And if something happened to me,
Girl, when he found out about that camera, it was like watching Jekyll turn into Hyde. The tea is so hot, it might just burn your tongue. How did the bad boy handle getting caught with his guard down? Let me tell you, it wasn't pretty when Diddy realized he was being recorded. His reaction was faster than a beat drop. 1 second he's all Z in with his yarn, the next he's looking like he's about to drop a diss track on the whole party. His face went from relaxed to who's about to catch these hands real quick. You could see the panic in his eyes, like he was trying to figure out if he could knit himself an invisibility cloak right then and there. But here's the thing, Diddy ain't no amateur when it comes to damage control. The man's been in the game longer than some of y'all have been alive. So what did he do? He tried to play it cool like knitting was just his new meditation technique, or something. He started talking about how it's all about mindfulness and staying grounded in the fast-paced music industry. He was spinning that story faster than his DJ spins record. Now you think Diddy would just own it, right? Like, yeah, I can. What about it? But nah, that's not how the bad boy rolls. Instead, he went full PR mode. His team was working overtime, trying to control the narrative. They were calling it everything from a new created outlet to research for a top-secret fashion project. Girl, they were reaching so hard, they could have knitted a sweater for the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, Jake. So the magistrate judge overseeing this hearing today has remanded Sean Diddy Combs into custody after he was charged with that sex trafficking case. He was let out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals, and he will be held in federal detention as this case moves forward. Now, this followed a lengthy hearing with both prosecutors and Diddy's attorneys arguing reasons why he should be kept behind bars and why he should be released. Diddy's lawyers saying that he has taken voluntary steps, including turning over his passport to his lawyers, saying he would report any of his movements to prosecutors. But the judge finding that that was just not enough. She said, my concern is that this is a crime that happened behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring. So she said there was nothing that his lawyers had offered that made her feel comfortable that he would return to this courthouse for subsequent court hearings and for a trial. She said that it was both his substance abuse and the fact that some of this physical abuse that's been alleged occurred when he was using drugs and alcohol, that was a reason why she couldn't trust that he would not commit any additional crimes while he was left on bail. So Sean Diddy Combs is not going to be walking out this door. He is in federal custody, where he will be unless his lawyers are able to convince a different judge to release him.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to procure women and alleged male sex workers to engage in performances for his own sexual gratification. Where it differs from a mob indictment, it has all the elements of putting together this racketeering allegation of all these moving pieces using resources from his businesses. But the fact that this is about an allegation of sexual gratification being accomplished by alleged human trafficking, it's one of the most unique indictments I've ever seen in this area, in the area of sex crimes, because the government isn't actually prosecuting the sex crimes other than the human trafficking or the sex trafficking. They're not prosecuting any type of alleged sexual abuse to women, although that's part of this racketeering scheme. But the actual charges are racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transporting individuals over state lines to engage in prostitution.
But here's the really Diddy's public response: radio silence, not a peep on social media, no statements, nothing. It's like he's playing hide and seek with the whole internet. And you know what they say, silence speaks louder than words. Is he embarrassed planning a big reveal? Or is he just hoping this whole thing will blow over like last season's fashion? Now I got some insider info for y'all. A little birdie told me that behind the scenes, Diddy team is in full crisis mode. They're having emergency meetings, calling in favors, trying to figure out how to spin this. Some are saying they should lean into it, make Diddy the new face of hip-hop meets handicraft. Others want to bury the story deeper than Diddy's old 90 seconds outfits. But here's the kicker, and girl, you didn't hear this from me. There's talk about Diddy considering a collaboration with a major craft store chain. Can you imagine Diddy's Nitty City or Bad Boy yarn? I mean, if you can't beat him, join him, right? But whether this is a genius move or career suicide, only time will tell. The whole situation's got people wondering, is this the end of Diddy as we know him? Or is it the beginning of a whole new era? Could the bad boy of hip-hop become the good boy of grandma hobbies? It's like watching a train wrecking slow motion, but make it fashion. One thing's for sure, this ain't the kind of publicity Diddy's used to. He's always been about flash cash and living large. Now he's out here looking like he's auditioning for a reboot of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's a plot twist nobody saw coming, and it's got everyone from fans to industry insiders should.
Reasoning around all of this, his alleged motivation as presented in that indictment by the government is for his own personal gratification. And that's just the strangest type of indictment I've ever seen. But I agree with you. This indictment it's very disturbing. The facts presented are out of, a very bad Hollywood story. And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named freak-offs. And there seems to be a ton of evidence allegedly tying this scheme together. So it's an interesting way of prosecuting it, but I understand why they did it that way.
So what did you make of what Elizabeth Wagmeister just reported? And obviously, Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys they're gonna get their day in court. But the idea that the government, in their characterization, does not say that anybody did any of these things non-consensually. What do you make of that?
I make of that as being a big flaw already in the government's case, which the defense was quick to point out. Even if he was engaging in this alleged conduct, there was no allegation or no statement in that indictment saying that any of these alleged victims or alleged witnesses willingly participated in some of these acts that people find offensive, that sound to be offensive. And that's a very important part of the case. What was the consent? But there are enough charges here where outside of what the alleged victims are going to say about how he was using the resources allegedly from his enterprises, his businesses, his well-known Bad Boy Entertainment, his clothing line resources, his liquor line resources. Allegedly, there were funds used from the resources to engage in this alleged prostitution activity across state lines, and that's why it's a federal case, because it's across straight lines. So there are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there's enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
So the Office of the Southern District of New York seems awfully confident about their ability to handle the scope and complexity of the case. But still, why do you think it took them so long for them to go after Combs, considering they allege his crimes have been going on for more than a decade?
My theory is that the government had an easy time putting together this final prosecution because of all the civil actions existing against Sean Combs right now. The case with Cassie, which that video was shown, his former girlfriend, where he was seen assaulting her. It looked like certainly that he was assaulting her on video. I think the government and investigators were able to accumulate all this easy evidence that was just handed to them from the attorneys who prepared the civil cases that are now pending against him. I think things just started piling up, and eventually Sean Combs got to a place where his luck ran out, and therefore he was indicted and arraigned.
But while Diddy's been playing cat and mouse with the press, the internet, it's been having a feel dat you think you've seen memes before. Honey, this Diddy drama just took it to a whole new level. And trust me, some of these reactions are so wild, they might just break the internet faster than Diddy trying to break those knitting needles. The moment that footage hit the web, it was like throwing chum in shark-infested waters. Social media went into a frenzy, and let me tell you, the memes, they're more fire than Diddy's hottest tracks. We're talking Photoshop battles that would make even the most seasoned graphic designers bow down. Picture this: Diddy's face superimposed on the Mona Lisa. But instead of that mysterious smile, he's got knitting needles in hand. Or how about Diddy as the new face of those Keep Calm and Carry On posters, except now it's Keep Calm and Knit on. The creativity is off the charts, and it's got me cackling harder than when I found out about Bayan's hot sauce in her bag. But it ain't just about the memes, honey. The internet's got jokes for days. One tweet that been making the round says Diddy's next album, Knit or Die Trying. Another one's asking if his next big hit will be It's All About the Pearls, baby. The puns are coming faster than Diddy can drop a beat. And some of them are so clever, they make Shakespeare jealous now. You know how Twitter loves a good hashtag game. Well, hashtag Diddy Knits is trendy harder than a summer heatwave. People are sharing their own knitting projects, asking Diddy for tips, and some are even starting knitting circles in his honor. It's like the whole internet decided to pick up needles and yarn overnight.
When I seen that Diddy stuff hit from CNN, I said, I know Art gonna call me, Art of Dialogue gonna give me a call.
Oh, you already know I was about to hit you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So with that being said, man, let's get right into it, man. What you think about the video that came out today of Diddy pitting his hands on Cassie?
Man, you know that was crazy. And I know people gonna think that, you know, yo, this is all what Gene wanted to see. But now, listen here, man. The devil got a purpose, God got a plan. Do you understand what I'm saying? The devil got his purpose, but God got a plan. You understand? And it's all in God's plan, man. You understand? To let people see, because a lot of people wasn't believing that this stuff even existed, brother. A lot of people didn't even think that you know, Cassie was telling lies, Gene been telling lies, Lil Rob been telling lies, everybody lying on Diddy. But Diddy told the truth. Diddy's the only one told the truth. He said, y'all just keep watching. The truth will soon come out. And you see what came out? My man, he punching that little girl in the head. Yo, you don't even kick a dog, man. You don't even kick a dog, bro. He kicking that little girl like she's a dog, man. It was crazy, man. Any man that has a sister, any man that has a friend that's a girl, any man that has a child, you understand, who saw that, if they wasn't appalled, if they wasn't like, yo, I want to beat the, you know what I'm saying? We can't say that on television, man, or on the internet or YouTube, but any man who saw that, wish they could put their hands on Diddy at that time, bro. That shit was appalling, bro. It was crazy, man. And when I saw it, you know, I could imagine what Kim went through. I could imagine what Misa went through. You understand? It was just crazy, man, for that dude to do that to that girl like that, man.
I can't believe what I seen, man. I still can't believe what I seen in that video, man. Like the way he was kicking her was like he was kicking a field goal, man.
Bruh, when I saw him run down first of all, when I saw the white towel, I got flashbacks of him and Ja Rule running out the room. Of course, they had, what's her name, Sarah and the other girl in there, but I had that flashback. And then when I seen him run down the hallway, I had flashbacks when the same gang was chasing him. I was like, what the hell? And then when he put his hands on it, no jokes aside, because I know it's not no laughing matter, man. This just was appalling, brother. And I don't even know how they could even play that on television, on YouTube like that, and without even putting up some sensitive, you know how they put the sensitive subject matter up? That was crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it, man. I mean, because like I said, I mean, me and you've been doing interviews for years and you've been telling me stories about Diddy, but to actually see the visual.
You know, so like, bruh, I wouldn't have never allowed him to do no shit like that around me. That's why he probably never did nothing like that. You understand? When I got the aftermath, when they told me to go over to St. Luke's Hospital, because Puff was over there in the hospital, that was the aftermath. You understand? When Kim cut his wrist up with that corkscrew, his right wrist. They got pictures on the internet with his wrist banded up. Kim did that. You understand? The aftermath of them being in the Swiss hotel and he roughing her up and like he playing fight with her, and then she runs out the presidential suite and we got the big room in there at the Swiss hotel, and then I'll be like, yo, you all right? And she like, yeah, I'm all right. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? You good? She like, yeah, good. And then she go back in the room with Puff, Diddy, Brother Love, whatever he call his name is. So, you know, it's always the aftermath of something like that, bruh. But in front of you, only people who commit crimes around people who commit crimes. You know, Puff know who to do that stuff around. And that was crazy, man. When I looked at that thing, to be honest, I thought that the people who was watching it, because you know at those hotels, they have security personnel that watch that stuff. And if they didn't call the police, they should be in jail.
But here's where it gets real interesting. This whole situation's got people questioning everything they thought they knew about Diddy. Some folks are saying it's all an elaborate PR stunted for a new clothing line. Others are convinced it's a sign of a midlife crisis. And then there's a whole group theorizing that Diddy's been a secret knitting prodigy this whole time, and we're just now finding out the reactions ain't all jokes and giggles. Though some people are actually praising Diddy for breaking stereotypes, they're saying it's refreshing to see a male hip-hop icon embracing what's traditionally been seen as a grandma hobby. It's got people talking about toxic masculinity and how it's high time we let men explore their softer sides without judgment. But you know how the internet is. For every positive comment, there's someone ready to throw shade. Some critics are saying Diddy's lost his edge, that he's gone soft. They're questioning if this is the end of his bad boy image. One savage tweet read, Diddy went from can't nobody hold me down to can't nobody take my yarn. Ouch, that's colder than a New York winter. Now here's the gag that's got everybody shook in the midst of all this chaos. Guess who came out of nowhere to defend Diddy? None other than Martha Stewart herself. That's right, the queen of domesticity took to Instagram to post a picture of herself and Diddy needles in hand with the caption, teaching my boy P some new tricks, who says you can't be a bad boy and a crafty boy. Talk about a plot twist. This whole situation's got Diddy's PR team working overtime trying to figure out how to spend this. But here's the thing, in today's world, where cancel culture's always lurking around the corner, could this actually be a blessing in disguise for Diddy? I mean, think about it. In a time when celebrities are getting called out left and right for problematic behavior, here's Diddy caught doing something so wholesome, it's almost unbelievable.
I don't care what nobody say. You know, whoever watched that tape and didn't submit that to the authorities, they should be brought up on charges.
Why do you think the video is barely coming out right now? Because you got a lot of people, you know, that's wondering why it took so long.
First of all, they know that Puff probably paid the security personnel, like, because he knew it was on camera. When he made it to the hallway, when she made it to that phone, once that phone picked up, that's going straight to security. That's for emergency purposes only. So either the concierge or somebody that's handling emergency type situations when she picked up that phone. So now, Puff probably had somebody pay them off. 9 times out of 10, he had somebody pay them off, bruh. And then now Homeland Security is involved. I told you, everybody talking about, yo, they ain't got nothing on him. his dumbass son come out, make this whole tape, you understand, about what they ain't got or what they, man, listen to me. Homeland Security looked at Cassie information. They interviewed her. Yo, when was the time he hit you? He hit you before? Yeah, we was at the hotel. He blacked my eye. They went through a whole lawsuit. Oh, he blacked my eye. We at the hotel. It was on this day, about this time. They said, okay, we gonna contact and see if the footage. Now they gotta keep that stuff in the archive. They have to have that security footage in the archive somewhere. So then what the Homeland Security say, yo, listen to me, on this day, this way, because just for accidents, like just say like you fell down the steps at the hotel. They got cameras in the hallway. They got cameras in the stairway. So they can see that. So now, you didn't fall down the steps, but you say you did at a certain time. They go through that whole footage. So they have to keep that in some kind of archive. Now, she told them what date and by what time it happened. They contact the security personnel and the people who have that stuff in archive and say, yo, listen to me. We're gonna subpoena that. We want that information. And they sent it to them. Because they don't want to lose their insurance. They don't want to lose their insurance. The things that they insure the hotel, you know, so they don't want to lose that stuff. So listen, what they do, they hand it over to them. There's going to be a lot of stuff handed over. Why do you think they got all the tax returns and everything on all 18 other companies that he was doing business with? I told y'all, the Southern District of New York, they not into losing nothing. A 98.2 percentage in conviction rates. They not losing nothing. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry about that.
What was your reaction when you first seen that video, man?
I was sick as a stomach, man. I was sick in the stomach, man, because you know, when you have daughters, you just hope somebody don't send you to jail like that. Because any real man know if somebody put their hands on their kids like that, you know, kicking them like a dog. My first reaction was, man, there's probably a lot of other women that had that same problem with old boy. Remember Gina that got on that show, Tasha K show? And she said that, yo, he kicked me. He was punching me in my head and the side of my head. Do you imagine what she went through and she was pregnant, bruh? Come on, man. I had flashbacks of when they told me when he beat Misa so bad that he was kicking her, she had to go hide up under a car. It's crazy, bro.
All right, let's break this tea down one last time. Diddy, the bad boy himself, got caught on camera knitting like it was nobody's business. The internet lost its mind. And now we're off wondering if Diddy's about to drop a line of designer scarves. So what's next for our boy Pete? Is he going to show up to his next red carpet rocking a hand-knitted sweater? Or is he going to pretend this whole thing never happened? The streets are saying it could go either way. Here's the million-dollar question. Is this just a BL flip on Diddy's radar? Or is he in some serious hot water? Y'all know how quick the game can change. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're trending for all the wrong reasons. What do you think? Is Diddy about to knit his way to a whole new image? Or is this going to unravel his whole career?